Hi, I'm Andrew Armstrong and welcome to the back office teardown lab. I have a bulb here. It's an 8-watt very bright LED light bulb, and you can see it's got these LEDs in there. This was sent to me by Chinny of Chinny Vision fame. Go watch his channel if you like retro-y 8-bitty stuff. And he said that he bought 3 of these. They were quite expensive, but they failed on him. And they all kind of seem to fail in the same way, like the LEDs packed up. And so I'm not going to bother putting it in a light fitting, because I'm going to jump straight in and we'll see if we can see how or where this has failed. So there is a bit of a... we have a bit of a glue situation, I think, going on. Ah, there we go. Interestingly, hang on. Yeah, this is plastic. I thought this would be metal. Sometimes this is metal on well, lots of things I've seen that acts as a heatsink, but it's just plastic on here, so it's just an air vent essentially. That is quite actively held on by some glues. I'm going to make some noise. Ah, woohoo! Look at this, is weird. This is the weirdest thing I've ever seen in my life, he says. Do do do, do do do. It's some spores, smacky spores. Okay, anyway, that is weird. Look at that. They're so textured. They're textured for my hand pleasure. It's like a kind of a machine that you put on the end of a drill and go, I'm gonna rub your hand. You're gonna love it. Yeah, I don't know what's going on here with these. Frankly, all I can say, these are like fake fingertips for the bedroom. Look at this. Hello. That is weird. I have no idea what the purpose of those is. I'm sure they're being used as some sort of, light feature here, but I don't know. That doesn't seem to be their original purpose. I think it was for something far more nocturnal. Bit of glue there, and I'll have some really grippy fingers with some covered in nodules, finger nodules. Okay, put that aside. In fact, I'll put them in this amazing pot designed for that. So we've got these. Look at these, are cute, aren't they? So they've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 LEDs each. Bloody hell. And there's 2, 4, 6 of those. So 2 times 12 worth. That's a lot. Okay, so it doesn't want to come out though. That's already possibly rounded or rounded my screwdriver. Let's have another go. I do like this. This is it does seem actually quite well engineered, to be honest. And the sub modules look cute. They're very cute, and I can feel they're actually mounted to a metal base. So there is some pretty significant heat sinking going on within the unit itself. I wonder if it's just relying on air passing through it. These almost could be like forced air if you wanted them. Imagine a fan in the middle of this blowing it all out. What's weird is we don't live in a particularly hot country here, and when you go to sort of countries that do have proper heat, I wonder how all this stuff fares, or if it all just conks out. So we should be able to prise these up now, gently. He says. Oh yeah, they're sort of glued on. They've obviously got some compound on them. Stop them. There we go. So that's it. Bit like a sort of. This looks really space age, doesn't it? I mean, if I was going to make a prop of a sort of spaceship or something, I'd be definitely using some of these. There we go. Now they've actually got a tang. I broke the first tag on this one, and you can see there's a little nubbin on the rest, but once that's released, they've all just sort of come off. That is sweet as. I'm going to snip those. I'm going to keep them as is. We want to preserve that. That's a bit of fun, isn't it? Look at that. Our own little... it's our own little satellite dish, isn't it, Rodney? Look at that. Covered in some white goo. White goo everywhere. Chuck that aside. What are we going to do now? Got that off. Main screw right in the middle here. In fact, we might have had to cut those if we saw that main screw and just sort of dismantle it. No, we would have. Woo! So that is a rather great looking heatsink. Look at that bad boy. What is that? Look at this thing. It's mental. It's got some sort of, you know, a cyborg array. That's the only thing I think that could be for. That's a cyborg array, I'm calling that. What purpose could that possibly serve? Oh, that's just the screw thing. That's the thing for those screws to screw into. So they're not self-tapping into the aluminium. They go into that block. They're basically a nut. Oh, bugger. It's like a triangle security bit. Probably, I'm going to guess, the only security bit I don't have in the security bit box. Yeah, absolutely. So we might have to go destructo on this. Let's have another go. We'll try to force it using regular screwdrivers. They tend to not, you know, the slot heads just, they hate that. They really hate it. No! Yeah. I think I'm going to fail on this approach, but we'll see. Why arse it when you can half arse it? Yeah, I think we can half arse it because the main gubbins actually that this connects to are in the base now. I can see there's a power transformer. So these are quite long screws, go the way through. So that's actually just a huge heatsink. Some noise. Noise. It's good. It's absorbing. It's absorbing my blows. It's a tough old thing. I'm going to go via a different route here. So there you go, that's your two wires and a couple of screws holding that in. So that's kind of like a universal fitting. I guess it's made so that it could have a bayonet fitting or a screw fitting if necessary. Crikey, that is pretty bloody tough, I'm telling you. Let's have a look at this again. LED lamp matrix, very bright LED light bulb. So apart from it, and it's dimmable too. 45 milliwatts, 8 watts. So apart from it dying on Chinny, these look like they're actually surprisingly well made. You can see from the difficulty I'm just sort of getting into it. I know I'm being very destructive, but destructive is normally pretty easy on most of these things. There's one leg in there. Come on. Break your bloody thing. Yes! I think we got it. That's an interesting heatsink design too. Even that is interesting. Look, I've split the heatsink, which is obviously a die-cast piece. Look at that. That is nice. This is a nice thing. Just one more bit. Get it out. Look at it. See, that's the bar there I was trying to break, but even that doesn't want to really go. Just the last one on the other side, and we're in. We're in. I almost said we're in like Flynn, and that's obviously something you'll have heard on EV blog. We don't use that term here, and I'm trying not to adopt it, frankly, because it's not our style. There we go. It's weird, these die-cast parts are almost like plastic. They're so, like, you know, thin, but gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. Who among us here wouldn't love to be able to do our own die casting? Let's get these screws out in case they're holding that thing in. I'm pretty sure they're not, but I am often wrong. Second one doesn't want to go. It's being a bit of a bastard. There, doesn't matter though. We'll nom it off. Right, come on. No, that's not holding those in. Let's try again, keep going. Nope. Let's just crank this thing out. Yeah, there we go. So, Mr. Chinnison, if something's going to have failed, I'll assume it will have failed here. I'm not seeing a massive amount of anything obvious. There's a fuse there. Let's test the fuse. Again, I kind of think it looks intact to my eyeballs, but again, my eyes are often wrong. The fuse is okay. Transformer, capacitor, looking a little bit crumpled, but that's me. Does look like it's got a little bit warm in there, but it kind of just looks like surface muck to me. Like flux has just got warm. There's no real obvious signs of any kind of damage on the PCB, so I don't know. I think there's a possibility, of course, that it could be the LEDs themselves. But I'm not quite sure on the failure mode of LEDs. They just sort of pack in, don't they? The continuity is not the right gauge here. Let's see what's the resistance on each of these. Okay. Maybe I'm measuring resistance isn't quite the done thing here. Let's put it in the ohms range. I don't know why it's in. Yeah. Nothing. I'm bored now. I'm bored playing with this Chinny. I'm going to just turn on my bench power supply. 5 volts, let's go. Let's just start probing. Can we get any kind of anything out of these things? I'm not seeing anything that's looking particularly interesting. 5 volts, we're going to crank that up. Let's try 18 volts. I'm going to assume white is ground. It's not really... Whoa. I may have blown it up. I just saw a bunch of LEDs just flash very, very briefly. Yeah. I don't know. That's my answer. I don't know. I'm just going to go full Monty. Let's put it up to 35 volts and we're going to blow it up if we can. So that's a short. Woo, 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 woo. Look, there you go. That's pretty bloody cool, isn't it? Oh, it just needs loads. It needs loads more juice than I had. So let's get the probe. Just as I was about to just sort of say, screw this, I'm going to just bin it. I'm glad I didn't. Look at that. So I'm going to hold it by there. So you can see 2 of the... how many strips? Sorry, I'm getting blinded. So these things are to make the light a bit more natural. So they're just filters. And the reason they're so squidgy, I guess now, they are just silicone, so they can take the heat. But that's their purpose. That's pretty bright. I mean, that's my maximum voltage on my meter, and it's taking 100 milliamps at 32 volts. So... bloody hell, Chinny. I think my eyes are gone now. So if we take that off, look at that. So yeah, those are cool. That's really quite the strikingly different effect with those things on. I'm pretty pleased. Interesting. So Chinny, in answer to your question, I think they've just failed because they've just failed. I mean, look. That was intermittent, actually. I've got the soldering iron on. Let's see if we can fix some of these up while we're here. So this one on the left, though, doesn't seem to be wanting to do anything right now. But this one looks like it might, burst into life if we sort of let's try heating it up or something. I think it's just heat, to be honest with you. I can feel these things getting warm quite now, just holding them. So I think they just succumb to the thermal cycling from being operational, and that just kills them. Yeah, like here you can see that was coming on when I was pushing on it, but it's not coming on now. So it doesn't seem to be that connector. It seems to be, oh my gosh, I'm really blinded now. You know, your eyes are just, they've had enough. Yeah, these are getting really hot. They don't have any heat sinking now at all. But yeah, it's something with the actual PCB, I think, on this one. Yeah, that's it. All I can say then, so in answer to your question, why is it failing? I think it's just failing just because it gets very hot in operation, and eventually that puts some strains on the PCBs and it just dies. But that's a wonderful thing to actually have and play with. So thank you very much for that. And it's really illuminated. It's really opened my eyes to things like these filters and how much a dramatic effect they have. I kind of like the idea of I might keep this, separate the modules, and maybe just glue these on, and then just keep them as some sort of LED array for a future project. But yeah, absolutely brilliant. Please comment down below and ask any questions. I've got Reddit now, Twitter, my webpage, backofficeshow.com, and all manner of ways to talk to me. But I'm trying to encourage Reddit right now because it's a bit more persistent. If you ask a question, you know, we can chime in. But yes, communicate with me any which way you can, Patreon, whatever you like. As ever, thank you for watching.